Over the weekend, I was chatting with a friend who asked, what balance of tools do I have that are specialty guitar tools versus regular woodworking tools? And, just on my bench here, you know, you can get a chisel at any decent woodworking store. I have my utility knife, I believe. I actually got this, at the home store. But then I do have some specialty tools. And so what I'm going to talk about today is really kind of the next step in my Gretsch restoration project anyway, and so it's a good time. StewMac sells a kit that has a specialized saw and whatever this is called, some sort of claw to kind of dig out fret slots. And so this is definitely one of those tools that's very specialized. A fret slot is usually something like 0.6 millimeters wide, and so whenever you're using a saw, you need to, get something obviously that doesn't enlarge the slot. And so, this looks kind of like a funny tool. Looks expensive for what it is, but when you actually go to use it, it makes perfect sense and is actually something that I would buy again. And so to use the fret saw, you first try and find one of your fret slots that's not deep enough. And they sell these gauges from a lot of different places. I got mine at StewMac because I was already placing an order. And you put it in the slot, and then depending on what it looks like, you can see whether or not you need to deepen the slot. And so I've sanded this fretboard quite a bit, and so I'm actually going to check every single fret slot anyway. And so when you go through, I think I did up to here yesterday. Actually, no point in guessing. I can just actually look. Yeah, this one's still good. Okay. Okay, so this is where I need to, actually one of the fret slots that I need to open up a little bit more. And so when you use this saw, it might seem a little confusing, like, well, which one is for which? And the easiest way to remember is the saw teeth go in the direction to make the other saw blade go away from the neck. And so if you're using this end, you're gonna that's the pull, right? Because when you pull, it's gonna bring this sawtooth away from the neck. If you're using this side, you're gonna push, and it's gonna push this one away from the neck. So you're never gonna get to a situation where the way you're moving actually draws the other blade into the neck. And so I'll just briefly show you how this works, and then we'll talk about the little hook tool. So to use this saw to clean up the fret slot, I'm going to use the pull cutter first. You can see that, at least for this one, the fret slot is already, pretty well marked. Some of these, especially around this area, got filled in a little bit. But this one has a nice mark here. And so what you can do is just very lightly score using the saw. And the important thing here is you're not going to be able to go fast. What you really want to do is just make sure that when you're doing a pull or a push stroke with the other blade, is that you're staying inside the fret slot. The last thing you want to do is pull so hard that you go across the fretboard, making scratches other places. And so this is definitely very much a finesse type of tool. And so, all I need to do here, again, is just kind of keep going and come back. And then when I want to test how deep it is, I can use my radius gauge. And so here I'm not even close. In the middle, it's actually pretty good, but both sides have some gunk in it. And so literally all I'm going to do is go back and saw this back and forth until I get where I need to be. And if I want to see if there's a bunch of stuff in the fret slot, now I can use this hooked tool, kind of come back. Let's get your stuff out. One thing that is nice about this is it has a hook, a little bit rounded, and so you can actually, almost do a sweeping motion. If there's something in there you want to actually pick out, you can kind of move it like this. And so that's really it. I mean, in terms of specialty tools, cutting fret slots is one of the most important things for a guitar. But in terms of a tool that you have, this isn't particularly useful for anything else other than this scenario. But for $30, it's definitely something that's worth having, especially if you're working on a pre-existing neck like this one that has binding. You can't just take a saw blade all the way across because you cut into the binding channel here. And so, this is one example of a specialty tool I have that ends up being worth it. This one is 0.023 or 230,000ths of an inch. Works really well. And yeah, so that's one example of a tool that I have that you can't buy at a general woodworking store. If there are other tools that you've seen me use during my projects and want to know more about, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do these types of tool reviews. At this point, I've just sort of taken it for granted that people kind of look through the different tool catalogs like I do. But if you want to know more about a tool, let me know, and I'll just make a quick video. Thanks for watching.